Welcome back to the session on class Reptilia, and this presentation brings to you the details on subclass Anapsida for the third semester B.Sc Zoology course paper, Animal Diversity for Data Part 1. Subclass Anapsida, as we have already seen, it includes those reptiles without any temporal fossa in their skull. And subclass Anapsida include two orders, order Cotylosaurium and order Chelonia. Order Cotylosaurium includes all the extinct forms of anapsids, and they are considered to be the stem reptiles. The stem reptiles, the name indicates that the rest of the reptiles have evolved from the Cotylosaurians. Okay. And they lived during the Carboniferous period. Now, during the Carboniferous period of late Paleozoic era, about 250 million years ago, some labyrinthodont amphibians gradually took on reptilian characters. And these earliest reptiles, they are known as the stem reptiles. They belong to the order Cotylosauria of the subclass Anapsida. The Cotylosauria, thus it is a group of earliest, most primitive and wholly extinct reptiles, and it forms the basic stem from which the diverse groups of reptiles have evolved. And that is the reason why they are referred as the stem reptiles. Cotylosaurians lived from Upper Carboniferous to Middle Triassic period, and they were contemporaries of many primitive amphibians of the Carboniferous and early Permian times. Many of them have little advancement over their labyrinthodont ancestors, and in many of their skeletal features they closely resembled their ancestors. Now, there are plenty of examples of fossil records. One of the major studied one is Simoria, and one of the oldest one is Hylonormus. Okay. Hylonormus, as you can see here, it do have a lizard-like appearance. The Hylonormus, it is one of the earliest known reptile, and hence it is considered to be the first kind of vertebrate group which walked on Earth, which needn't visit back to water for breeding. Okay, so it is considered to be one of the oldest reptile, and it was named Hylonormus lyelli. It was discovered by Sir William Dawson, who was a geologist from Nova Scotia, and he named it after his teacher, Lyell. Nova Scotia's provincial fossil, the Hylonormus lyelli, is the oldest known reptile in the world, and it dates back to almost 315 million years, and it is the ancestor of subsequent reptiles, including dinosaurs and the much later mammals. The fossilized bones of Hylonormus lyelli have been found in the fossil remains of hollowed out tree stumps at the famous fossil cliffs of Joggins, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia-born geologist Sir William Dawson was the first to discover Hylonormus lyelli in 1852, in the mid-1800s, and the name Hylonormus derives from a combination of Greek words, hylo, which refer to wood, and from the Latin word it referred to mouse, okay, and normos refer to wanderer, so it is considered to be a wood wanderer, forest wanderer. Lyelli, the specific name was given in honor of Dawson's teacher, mentor, Sir Charles Lyell, who is a British author of the Principles of Biology and one of the most influential geologists of the 19th century. So Hylonormus lyelli looked very similar to modern lizards, and it had a very slender body and reached 20 centimeters in length, including the tail. Hylonormus lyelli was an insectivore and used its small, sharp teeth to feed on millipedes and insects. And it was actually the earliest known fossil. Even though older to that, West Lothiana is another reptile, almost very similar to, or showing very high resemblance to amphibia, and hence it is not completely included under reptile, but obviously it is considered to be a mediate, a link between the amphibians and the reptiles. And there is yet another older one. It is Cassinaria, but it is not. The fossil is not complete. But the complete, unquestionable, the earliest reptile was Hieronymus. Okay, so this is about the order Cotylosaurian. Okay, now the next one is order Chelonia, the second order under subclass Anapsida, and it includes the common turtles, tortoises, and terrapins. All the these chelonia are aquatic or terrestrial reptiles with pentadactyl walking legs, as in the case of terrestrial forms, or flipper-like swimming paddles, as for in the case of the aquatic forms. They have a bony shell or armor, an apsid skull, and toothless bony jaws. They differ from all other reptiles in having a bony shell, which encloses the entire body and into which the head, limbs, and tail can be retracted. So, body is enclosed by a shell which is formed of dorsal carapace and ventral plastron. The dorsal shell covering, this is you can see this part is referred as the carapace, and ventrally almost similar one that forms the plastron. Okay, the part of the shell on the ventral side, it is known as the plastron. The carapace, it is formed of numerous scutes. Okay, the central medial row, it is referred as the vertebral scutes, and the anteriormost scutes are referred as the nuchal scutes. And on the lateral side of the vertebral scutes, they have the marginal scutes. Okay, so this forms the carapace. Okay, and into this shell formed of the carapace as well as the plastron, the head, the limbs, and the tail can be retracted. Uh, the mouth is provided with tongue, but they don't have any teeth on their jaws. They have toothless jaws. Another feature is the presence of claws or the toenails. Okay, claws are present in the turtles, that is in the aquatic forms, uh, where the what do you call the feet is actually paddle-like, while the toenails, very unique toenails, can be found in the terrestrial tortoises. Okay, and it helps them to walk on the land. Then other salient features include they have a short, broad body encased by a bony shell, as we have already mentioned, which is formed of the dorsal carapace and ventral plastron. As already mentioned, pentadactyl limbs that are modified to walk on land, or it is modified as a webbed paddle-like structure for swimming in water. Then they have toothless jaws covered by a hard horny sheath and produced in front into a beak. The skull anapsid type without any temporal foci. The single-headed ribs with capitulum only and tuberculum is absent. The sternum, it is absent. Then you can see that there is only two sacral vertebrae, and the quadrate is fixed and immovable, that is monomostylic jaw suspension can be found. Then clavicle opening is more longitudinal than rounded and never transverse. It is generally held that these chelonians represent a very early evolutionary offshoot from the primitive stem reptiles or the Cotylosaurian stem, and the exact acting link between the Cotylosauria and chelonia is still to be found. So here you can see a few examples. It includes turtles, which are marine in nature, terrapins that are freshwater, and tortoises, usually referred to the terrestrial chelonians. Okay, the major ones, a few examples. It is Dermochelis coriacea, leatherback turtle. It is one of the largest turtles on the earth. Then we have the testudo, which is the common land tortoise, and then Testudo abingdoni. It is the largest of the tortoise. That is a Galapagos giant tortoise. Okay. Now a few examples we can see. Okay, before we go into the examples, we can see that the structure pattern. This is the structure of carapace. You can see the scutes. The central medial row, it is the vertebral or the neural scutes. And on the lateral side, you can see the pleural, which is longer, wider actually. And along the margin, they have the peripherals or the marginal scutes. Okay. Now, this is the anterior part, which is it is having the proneural of the you can see here the nuchal scutes. Okay, that is the anteriormost one. And towards the posterior, that is closer to the tail, they have the pygal and the suprapygals. Single pygal scute and a couple of suprapygal scutes. So this is what is the carapace made up of. While in the case of plastron, that is a ventral covering, the anterior part is formed of the epiplastrons, then central endoplastron, and the posterior part is made up of a pair of cephaloplastron. And the rest you can see the hypoplastrons form the central part. So this is what the plastron is composed of. Okay. Now coming to the very common chelonians or what you are supposed to learn. This is about the sea turtles. Okay, there are actually 7 sea turtles extant or living on the world, but out of that, 5 sea turtles visit the different coasts of India. So these 5 sea turtles have been mentioned here. The one is the green sea turtle, Chelonia midas, and this green sea turtle visits Indian coastal areas for breeding. Now there is you have the loggerhead sea turtle. You can see it is having a slight reddish or orange color, and this also visits for their breeding time. Okay, and leatherback sea turtle is the largest among the sea turtle. It is Dermochilus coriaceae. Again, you can see it is black in color with almost like a tapering or spindle-shaped carapace. Okay, and here you can very clearly see that all these, for as an adaptation for their aquatic mode of life, they have a paddle-like limbs. Okay, and usually they don't have any toenails. It is purely widened for helping them to move in water. And leatherback sea turtle. Then the next one we have is the hawksbill sea turtle, Erythmochilus imbricata. Okay, olive ridley sea turtle. It is a Lepidochilus olivaceae. The name indicates that it is having a slight green color. Their body is slightly green color, olive colored, and that is why the name has come. And almost differing to the loggerhead and leatherback, the carapace is almost smooth and very clear and even. Okay, and olive ridley sea turtle is one of the turtles which visit Kerala coast for their during their breeding time. Right. So these are the 5 sea turtles that visit Indian coastal areas. Okay, the 5 great turtles, and among them the leatherback is the largest one. Now coming to the freshwater forms or the land forms, you can see this is the common pond you can see tortoise, that is a Melanochilus, and it's completely black in color. You may find it in ponds like basking or on found sitting in rows on rocks and all along the shores or on the rocks and all. Is very closely related with what you call the pond ecosystems. Okay, this one is the Indian star tortoise, which is being smuggled for different. You can see for its maybe like pet or for other reasons. This is the Indian star tortoise. It is Geochilon elegans. So these are few examples from Chelonia or the order Chelonia, and you are supposed to learn as part of your syllabus. You have to learn about more about the green sea turtle and the Melanochilus. Okay, so this is all about the Chelonia. Fine, thank you.